Yeah, very pleased. There's nothing sweeter as a batter than walking off, with a win, not out. Walking in, shaking the boys' hands. So yeah, very pleasing. And like you said, that game did ebb and flow. They started well, we pulled it back, and then they had a strong finish. So, and then those 2 wickets at the start, the momentum was firmly against us. But I thought Harry, Brookie played unbelievably there to swing it back in our favour. Took a big chunk out of that total. So yeah, it was then down to just being pretty smart with using the big side and the small side. And then I thought everyone did that pretty well. Bance and me had a nice partnership there. So yeah, pretty pleasing all in all.
You personally didn't start in a big blaze of attacking shots. You sort of, I guess you were hanging in and waiting for your moment. How did you choose it and pick it? Obviously the no balls helped.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like I said, Brookie I was going to probably take a few more risks if Brookie didn't get off to the flyer that he did. But he allowed me to just, almost be that person there, just anchoring away. I tried to, kick on a bit more before that big over. But yeah, those 2 free hits definitely, opened the door massively for a big one.
And did when Joffrey came up, did you say, leave it to me, I've got this?
Joff was ice cold. He doesn't say a whole lot. We've got a kind of mutual understanding. You just nod and go, yeah, all good, watch the ball, and he goes, yeah, cool. But yeah, he was ice cold in that moment. When they bring the fielders up to try and keep him on strike, he had the clarity to hit it in the gap. So it was unreal to see, and yeah, it was sweet to finish it off with him.
And I just wonder, it's not long ago since you were the young thing looking at Sooryavanshi on the opposition. You're the old veteran now. It's not coming back to you very often before. Oh
yeah, it feels weird to say that I'm playing against someone 7 years younger than me. But yeah, I've watched him bat in India. I've watched him, today. The swing and everything is pure. So yeah, he's an unbelievable talent.
Hi Jacob. When you pick your moment, and obviously it's that over that you went, what is the key? What are you looking for, and what are you doing to try and maximise that?
I think the key for me, the free hits is actually quite a weird thing. Sometimes you get sucked into swinging too hard, and you end up chunking it to mid wicket for one, and you go, well, that was pointless. But the main thing I was trying to do was just stay as still as possible. The old cliches: watch the ball, strong base. But those 2 things definitely give you the best chance to hit in the middle. You put a good swing on it, and it sails. So yeah, that was kind of the thought process for the free hits, and then the other ones were more just, if he over pitches, get him straight. If he drags his length, get him in the gap to the big side. So try to keep it as simple as that, and thankfully it paid off.
You're sort of racking up these sort of amazing knocks. When it goes well for you, it's match winning, or it's big like this, unbeaten. What's the sort of key for you going forward? Is it sort of turning those more consistent, or is it sort of always being the guy that can do that field team?
Yeah, I definitely like to be more consistent. Every game I play, I learn a lot about opposition, myself, and every game I try and take it in as a a building block into the next one. And yeah, like you said just then, definitely I'm striving to be a consistent match winner. You might not always have the 80 not outs, the big scores, but in T20 cricket, a lot of cameos actually win you games but don't get the headlines. So in terms of being more consistent, I'm definitely looking to do that.
Matt and then Son.
Could you just tell us about your mindset at 1 for 2? Were you scrambling to get guys on?
No, T20s you're down in the dugout, so I was pretty calm. Brookie went out there. I said, go hurry. And then I was out there a couple of balls later. Josh was unlucky, but yeah, it's a weird feeling, going out 2 down for not many. But yeah, like I've said it before, just then, Brookie played that situation unbelievably.
Yeah, just to throw forward to the 50 over part of the series where you're opening the batting, are you looking forward to that challenge?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm definitely looking forward to batting with Ducky. Every time I batted with him, and we've had a partnership, we bounce really well off each other in terms of the way we score. I know we're both left-handers, but we score in pretty different areas. So I think if we can get that going, it will be a really strong partnership. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've never opened the batting in 50 over cricket, but I can take kind of different aspects. Bit from my Red Bull game, bit from the T20, and hopefully mould it into quite a good template. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
Simon. Cheers. And then you give her.
Just on losing those 20 wickets, what does it say about England that, and for this team, that from such a terrible start against the best T20 team in the world, you have the batting depth and the confidence to lead it?
Yeah, it says a lot. I think, take it back to the World Cup where we actually, found ourselves in those positions a lot and was able to scrap. Jaxie, having him coming in at 7 gives our whole batting lineup a huge amount of confidence that we can take the game on and do special things like today. But yeah, it's just another notch in the right direction in terms of confidence for us as a batting group. I think you don't look at the scoreboard too much and worry in those situations when you have the depth of Sam batting 6, Jaxie 7, even Joff. He and everyone coming in after that, they can do a job. So yeah, I think it's just another step in the right direction for this batting group.
You talk about going back to the World Cup. In that semi-final, you scored a brilliant century, but for nothing in the end. And it felt like when Will Jacks got out in that game, that was kind of the end of it. When Will got out here, kind of felt like that again. Didn't work out that way.
Yeah, I think I'll try and answer the question another thing. Jaxie is playing a different role to what he's played for a long time. That role is hard. He take it back to the World Cup. He did unbelievably for the whole time, and even in that semi-final, he was going unbelievably well. And when he got out, the step was just one too far. But it makes a big difference chasing 250 compared to 190. So I think to answer your question, that would have been the difference.
My question was actually also about that World Cup, that game, but actually your innings in that game in Mumbai, the terms were dictated to you had to go from ball one. There was no other choice. Today you sort of sat in behind, you mentioned Bookie a couple of times, and you kind of made the innings feel a bit longer, if you know what I mean, like you give a bit of air to the innings. It seemed you're quite calm. Can you sort of talk about keeping calm through that period?
Yeah, I think, to go back to a question I've answered before, in terms of consistency and stuff like that, you become more consistent when you just play in a situation. Like you said, the World Cup was a complete anomaly. You don't chase 250 very much. So, yeah, that situation was dictated in a different way, that you go in hell for leather from ball one. And then today it was just about, there was times where I wanted to, it crosses your mind to, should I try and hit this wall for 6? Well, he's at the top of his mark, but you go, no, can give yourself a bit of a chance. And then you kind of stumble upon the moment in the game that you can really hammer it home. So yeah, I think it's just about being really clear, have that good dialogue within you and your partner to just kind of bring each other back when you're feeling itchy. And 20 overs, as short as it seems, is actually quite a chunky bit in that middle period where it can go one of two ways. So.
And you mentioned it before, you had many good innings now for England, but that one is significant, getting the team over the line to a victory. Does that sort of feel a bit different? Yeah,
this one, I'd actually put it up close to the top. I've scored a few hundreds, but only one of them was in a winning cause. We lost in Australia, we lost in India, so both of those games, you kind of looking going, what more? I needed to do more. Whereas today, I'm all smiles. We've gone 1-0 in the series. There's a few scars against India, so it's nice to get one up on them. And yeah, it's just a lot of confidence going into the last 3 games.
We'll finish up at the back.
Hi Jacob, incredible innings. You couldn't finish it off in the semi-finals. Today you did. Just wanted to know if you answered.
Thanks.
You just answered about how you control the innings. But was there a particular bowler that you had in mind that you wanted to target, or it just came to a point where you just had to go, it was 12 runs per over? Was there a particular bowler that you wanted to target?
There wasn't a particular bowler. The spinners are definitely trying to put pressure on, but I thought they, Aksar in particular, bowled really well to that long side, making it really hard to hit boundaries off him. And then the 2 leggies, I was definitely trying to be a bit more aggressive towards them, but I thought they actually shut it down pretty well up until that last over of spin that was bowled. So yeah, it was just about picking that moment, and moments won't come easier than that in a way. When you get 2 free hits, that's kind of your cue to go. So yeah, I probably would have tried to put the foot down in that over anyway, but the moment was kind of presented itself naturally.
Cool, thanks everyone.
Thank you.